Hi, we're in Egypt, right next to the Nile. We're going to Merenptah. It's not a big deal.
Allow us to reintroduce ourselves.
Our name is Going Back Back.
In 2019, we had 3 kids under 5, a new minivan, and a house full of things.
With our eldest due to start school in a few months, we decided it was now or never to take an extended vacation. And so we set off to explore the world and be back in time for his first day.
We were several months into our trip when the pandemic hit and schools around the globe shut down.
It confirmed the idea that was already brewing in our minds, that there was no better classroom than the one our kids were already in, the world.
We sold our minivan, gave away everything that couldn't fit into a suitcase, and became full-time travelers.
Join us as we very slowly travel the world, going back.
We're going on the coast.
Ready, guys?
Yeah. Gotta get back and home. Daisy on the street. Sticks and feet. Dance and feet. We've never been back here, have we? It's a whole new world.
It's a new world. Egypt.
The major bank ATMs in Egypt don't charge a transaction fee. That should save you a lot of dollars. Tickets for the Merenptah Temple are sold at the Antiquities Tickets office. The tickets are $40 for adults, 6 and up is $20, and under 6 is free.
Here, no. Yeah, look, this way.
Merenptah. Even the babies can get it right.
No.
Yes. Aywa.
Finish. Let's go.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yes.
This is it.
This is it.
This is Merenptah.
Merenptah.
All right, we're here at Merenptah Temple, and our tuk-tuk driver thought he was lost and thought he didn't know where he was going because so few tourists frequent this spot. So we're going to take you on an in-depth look at Merenptah. Let's go. Let's go. Here, let me get...
Good morning from the Mortuary Temple of Merenptah. From circa 1212 to 1202 BCE. You can see where we are here was the first pylon. And we're about to enter the first courtyard. To the left will be the palace. To the right, the magazines. You can see here there's a well, 2 courtyards, 2 apostille halls, shops, workshops, the actual temple rooms, the treasury. Let's go see. So behind the temple on the other side of the road there, that's where a lot of the tombs of the nobles and what have you are. So any two of us coming to the west bank of Luxor is going to pass this place, but not a lot of people are going to come in. So it's a fun place to visit if you like to go places a lot of people don't. You can see there's a lot lost at this temple. What you see here used to be at the top of massive columns. So they propped the lintel up on some stonework. You can imagine it was huge overhead. The kids are already having a ball, climbing and exploring. That's one of the brilliant things about Egypt with kids, is there's so much space for the kids to explore and to just be kids while being immersed in ancient history. This is the recreation of the Israel Stela. You can see it's pretty tall. Behind me is a recreation of the Israel Stela that was found on this site. The original is in Cairo, but this is actually what this site is most famous for. Here, Flinders Petrie found the only mention of Israel in ancient Egypt and the earliest mention of Israel in ancient history. Flinders Petrie believed that the original found here was his greatest discovery and was the thing that he was going to be remembered for, more so than anything else he did. The most famous part reads, "Israel is laid waste and his seed is not." They say that his seed is not is formulaic. It means that the crops have been destroyed by the Egyptians, by the army, and so there's likely to be famine and no food, which of course is devastating to any society. So these columns are massive. I mean, I'll put my hand here for scale. So you can imagine when they were up and complete, they must have towered over the site. What do you think? It's hot. That's why we should have come at 7 o'clock. Alright, so we are in the forecourt, or courtyard, first courtyard of the temple. Over here, this was the palace. This entrance is blocked, so I'm going to have to go around to find where to get over into the palace section to show you. This temple, this memorial temple of Merenptah, I've heard a few different ways of saying it. I'm going to stick with Merenptah because it's what the guard at the front said and it's the easiest for me to pronounce. It is behind what was the mortuary temple of Amenhotep III, which was renowned for having thousands upon thousands of statues, and Merenptah came along and took some for his temple. So a bit of recycling, a bit of reusing. I don't think that's the way to the palace either. Let me try a different direction. If I'm not mistaken, even the Israel Stela was taken from the temple of Amenhotep III, and the other side of it was used for Merenptah's purposes. You can see the temple was in great disrepair, but the efforts of the archaeological teams to bring it back together into something like the original layout make it still something interesting to come see. There are a lot of thorns back here and not a small amount of trash. Let's see if I can get over here. Alright, So I've come up behind the stela. You can kind of see the outline of the palace, but you can't go in. There's a hotel outside. That one's probably not 3,300 years old. I'm gonna try and get back over here without getting too many thorns in my feet. But you'll see this way is where there was a sacred lake. And these were used by the priests. Ow, oh, ouch! Several spikes. Alright, here we go. Let's get a look at it. Yes. No water now. Oh, when it floods, there's water? But during the inundation, water. Oh, okay. So just last month there was water? Yeah. Yeah, right. So this was the sacred lake. And as the gentleman who is the guard and guide here was just explaining, there were canals that came up from the Nile, which was already closer at the time. It came naturally closer, but then they dug canals to bring it up. And you can see there must still be some water getting in there because the weeds have found enough water to grow. And you see there would have been the remains of mud brick stairs there. This is right off the road. It's one of the tour buses over there headed for the Valley of the Kings, maybe for Hatshepsut. And behind this locked gate, closed. No problem. Fish mushkala. You can see some of the great blocks in there. Oh, and you can also see bits of sphinxes. You can make out the carvings there on those ones. Sabah al-khair! Salam!
Salam, habibi. Salam.
So you can see some of these mud bricks have survived for more than 3,000 years. And of course there's still a method of building in this region. Not the only method, obviously, but still in active use. So you can see there on the hills, that was Gorna, and it was a thriving village that was moved because it was on top of a lot of ancient sites. So all of the people were moved to different locations. Principally an area called New Gorna. The chief complaint is that New Gorna is not at all on the tourist route. So where there was the ability for them to interact with and make business from tourists when their homes were right here in amongst the sites, that source of income obviously was lost to them when they moved to an area that tourists don't visit. Fragment of color surviving. Again, this temple is more than 3,300 years old. So it's pretty impressive that this color remains. And quite striking to imagine how colorful these temples must have been for even this fragment to remain. So you can see behind me there some of the color that remains from the original temple. And I have heard someone say that we're actually lucky that we're so many thousands of years removed from the original temple structures, because we would have found them quite gaudy. The colors ridiculously overwhelming, whereas now, you know, it seems like romantic ancient monuments, they would have just been awash in color. I think it would have been pretty cool. You see the fields, farmland still there. So a lot of these temples and tomb sites They're right next to each other. And it's something to imagine what it would have been like at the time when they were all standing, all next to each other, one after the other, of these massive monuments. I don't know if you can see my family over there. Clearly it's snack time. The most important part of any trip out with children. Snack time. Hard to tell with what's left standing, but I believe that what I'm standing in now would have been the sanctuary, the Chapel of Osiris, and the Chapel of the Solar Cult. You can see outlines of rooms. And then towards that way, you're seeing the Apostles' halls, and back towards the second pylon. Here you can see the cartouche of Meron Ptah, Pharaoh of Egypt, King of Upper and Lower Egypt, for about 10 years. Yeah. So guys, what do you think?
So many stairs.
So many stairs.
It's great.
Yeah.
You can see we're already sweating.
You are red and sweaty. What are you snacking on?
A wafer and some chips in my hat.
Oh, hat chips. Like hat chip soup. So still here, the beautiful remnants of carvings. This is Meron Ptah. That's the Pharaoh himself. Well, a stylized representation to make sure he looks handsome and godly. Meron Ptah was a pharaoh of the 19th dynasty. He was the 13th son of Ramses II, Ramses the Great. One of the reasons Ramses was able to become so great was that he lived for more than 90 years. So by the time Meron Ptah became pharaoh, he had outlived 12 of his elder brothers, and it's estimated that he was already about 70 years old. He reigned until his death about 10 years later. So he lived until about 80, which was still a long life for people of that time. But he waited a long time to be king. And several of his brothers waited forever. So these were the magazines, these were the storage areas. And down there was a treasury as well. What you doing up there?
Come on, follow me, Mommy.
Where are you headed?
This way.
This part of the temple were the magazines and the treasury. So storage rooms, treasury. You can only imagine how much wealth such an area must have contained.
Follow me, Mommy.
Where are you headed?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Follow me.
Hey! The sites around Luxor have a lot of really fantastic signage. Like you can see here, they've only got these remaining blocks, or these couple of blocks remaining. But they've created this here so you can see what the entire scene looked like. You can see here, there's an upright face. This is a lying down leg. And another face towards the ground. We don't touch them. And another upright face there. So not sure what exactly was going on there. Merenptah reused a lot of Amenhotep III's stones and statues, so maybe it was carved by two different people in two different situations. Or maybe he's really supposed to be lying down, face down.
Whoa, this is hot. I don't mean like hot sun, I mean hot. Like cool hot?
Like cool hot? Yeah, me too. I keep forgetting what the name of these people is. Tawerset and Sitna. We are at these colossi statues of Tawerset and Sitna. They are far less famous than the slightly grander colossi of Memnon, but they're magnificent. They're huge. A lot of people, everybody passes them on the bus on the way to the Valley of the Kings, but I don't think many people stop. You know, but as with our advice on just about everything in Luxor, it's all worth a stop. And Luxor itself is worth far more than the 2 days that most tour groups give it. You know, if there's anywhere in Egypt that really deserves you coming and spending 4, 5, 6, 7 days, weeks, months, Luxor's the place. There's nowhere like it. And surely our kids' favorite thing about Luxor is that just about everywhere has a sandpit. So you see there are actually some signs here. They're a little sun damaged. Yeah, it's a shame the weather's so rough on everything here, because these are some interesting photos actually. You see them using a crane to get them back up to standing. So it says Egyptian-European emergency salvage project of the northern gate of his funerary temple. So this was done between February 2013 and February 2015. So they are the western and eastern colossus at the northern gate of the funerary temple of Amenhotep III. Made of quartzite, 13.5 meters high, weighing 110 tons. Ooh, how are we doing, guys?
Tired.
Yeah. What are we doing now?
I learned that I should put the lights out. That tastes out of my mouth.
What kind of juice did you get?
Tamarind, but it's basically just sugar and a cup makes good, a tiny bit of fruit. It's delicious stuff.
Gigi, what kind of juice did you get?
Mix.
What kind of juice is a mix?
Sugarcane and orange.
Sugarcane and orange? Yeah. What did you get, Cricket?
Sugarcane.
Sugarcane. What are you having, Raja?
Alright, beans and fava beans and bread. Carrot.
What is it?
Pickled carrot, but it's spicy.
Good. What do you got in here?
Hamburgers. Oh, pickles.
What are they?
Pickles.
Did you say pickles?
Pickles. I don't know what it means though.
I think it just means pickles. How much was your bill?
It was 15 Egyptian, and I paid 100. I've got 50, 60, 70, 80, 85 Egyptian.
All right. 100 minus 15 is?
85.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. Going, back.